Welcome back. This is day two. And just as a reminder, quotes, affirmations, and storytelling are great methods for shifting your mindset. And today we're going to focus on patience. So, our quote of the day reads, patiently dig deep. Here's what I want you to remember: there's more to you than what we see. The surface is nourished by the roots. Patiently engage in your roots. My name is Maya D, and I'm a storyteller by nature. I like to do so in both dance as well as storytelling. So now I'm going to share a story with you. So go ahead and get cozy, get comfortable. Feel free to walk away from your screen and just let this play and just listen as I talk and drop some questions if you have some. Or feel free to kind of look at me. I'm sitting on the porch here because it was the quietest place in my house, and just understanding that life goes on. So here we go. I'm no longer sure what I think. For about 12 years now, I've been suffering from pain in my right hip. Last year, it was so bad at times that I thought I would once again find myself in a wheelchair, and this time it might be permanent. In August, I started a self care regimen that included massages. I thought it was an intelligent idea to give the masseuse permission to be a little heavier this time with the massage. But the pain in my legs and the ache in my heart left me wondering. There is more than you see. I think I've done a good job of masking my pain from others, but I'm not sure that I want to do that anymore. I'm not sure it's beneficial to anyone. My range of motion has decreased and the shape of my body has changed in ways that I don't appreciate. Sometimes I find myself sad and upset, lonely, and frustrated about this. Some might contribute the change to old age, but I know better. In 2017, while recovering from another injury, a fellow dancer suggested that I sit on my heels to stretch my quads, excuse me. The position seemed easy enough for a dancer and a former cheerleader who used to do things like splits and all types of other stretches, but I couldn't do it. The other dancer offered to help me stretch and then commented on the tightness in my quads and ankles. At the time, I was recovering from plantar fasciitis and tendinosis, a combination that required me to be bedridden for weeks. I was given an air cast, a prescription for pain, and told not to dance. I'm not sure which was worse: the physical pain in my foot and my ankle, the pain I felt in my soul from not being able to dance, or the emotional pain of knowing I had to take medication when I come from a family that struggles with drug addiction. The tightness in my thighs was an early sign of my decreased range of motion. The knots in my quads were connected to something else, and so was the plantar fasciitis. This is the reason for the existence of the saying, your pain, well, let me rephrase that. There is a reason for the existence of sayings like, you're a pain in my ass, or I can feel the weight of the world on my shoulders. Emotions and experiences are archived in the body and can manifest as different conditions. When someone becomes a support system for everyone except for him or herself, it can greatly affect this ligament. This is actually a line that I took from a blog that describes the mind body connection and how my pain was connected to an underlying issue with my emotions. Succinctly stated, some of what I experienced in 2017 as an injury was a manifestation of emotional stress. I felt stuck. And while I tried to be available to others for others to talk to, I felt like I had no one who truly understood what I was going through. Now, to be clear, I completely understand that physical stressors also contributed to my condition. And in this episode, this story, this blog, this entry, this sharing of information, I am focusing on the emotional ones. As I dive deeper into ideas around mind body connection, I was also introduced to additional terms like trigger points and the psoas muscle. The trigger points in my quads were part of the reason I couldn't sit on my heels. I searched the internet for stretches and even did some virtual yoga classes with Do You Yoga. Absolutely wonderful. You should try it if you haven't. And some private Facebook meta groups with focus on yoga. In my readings, because I do identify as a geek, so I love to read and research, I heard about these breakthrough experiences some people would have in their yoga classes. While holding a pose, an emotional release would happen and cause that practitioner to cry or shake uncontrollably. I actually long to have this kind of release. In my research of the psoas muscle, I learned that the muscle stores pain and trauma, and the root of some of the trauma can go as far back as when your grandmother was carrying your mother in her womb. Trauma your grandmother experienced while carrying your mother can be passed on to you in utero as a result of the experience. Connecting with my mother and my grandmother seemed to be like a great reason or a great method to get to the root of some of the issues that I was experiencing. Patiently engage with the roots. While I can say I'm now able to sit on my heels, there's still work to be done. During the pandemic, I spent a considerable amount of time with my mother, and I'm happy that sharing that space created an opportunity for some much needed healing in our relationship. Additionally, I've actively worked on talking with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, that is, and this was big for me because I definitely harbored feelings of hurt and distrust for her. And I think the sum total of all of these things is working towards my greater health. And at the same time, I know that I can't do it all by myself. So my wellness plan includes massages. The pain in my shoulder in 2021 was the original reason that I started going to get the massages. But around the second session in, I asked if more attention could be given to that right hip and that quad. In the aforementioned last session, excuse me, so where we started, I asked that she focus on my quad and my hip. I'm not sure what to think about exactly what happened in that experience and how it played out in the night, but when I got off the table, I felt really great. And during that afternoon, I noticed I had the ability to move freely in a way that I hadn't moved in a while. Early that evening, however, I noticed a dull aching in my heart, and I felt like I wanted to cry. I did cry. Let's be truthful. I cried. That night, my hips still felt free, and while my right hip and left quad were on fire, it was like a dull aching pain, not a sharp pain. And I told myself that it was a direct result of those muscles getting some much needed attention. I felt like the masseuse patiently worked to activate some muscles and allowing her to address the discomfort that I was feeling. So, the discomfort I was feeling that night was directly related to the change, the attention that those body parts were given, my body being able to heal through some of the experiences. My root work now includes journaling, conversations, prayer, intentional movement, and of course, massages. Sharing stories is a great way to shift those mindsets. And I hope that in sharing this story with you about how I had to patiently dig into, patiently investigate the pain that I was feeling, helps you to remember that patience is a virtue and all of the answers won't come right away. But if you commit to making the change, commit to assessing how you feel, and making decisions based on getting to a healthier space, it's worth it. Can't say it'll happen overnight, but it's definitely worth it. I am committing myself to doing something that's a little different, doing something that's a little challenging. I am committing to coming on live the next 30 days. So that's pretty much going to be the month of October in the year 2024 to share these affirmations, these words of wisdom, and the stories that came to mind, my lived experiences based on those quotes and those affirmations. Some of these stories are coming from as far back as 1999, um, and have been crafted in a blog that I started some time ago. And I thought, sharing is caring. So while everybody didn't get to engage with that blog, I still felt that the information was important to share and to create opportunities for us to share and get healthier together. So I'm reading through those entries, sharing them with you, and that, practicing sharing. I hope that you got something good out of this moment, this mindful moment, this sharing of affirmations and stories. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and also check out the details. I had some really great things in there, some affirmation cards, a link to a series of guided journals that I've designed, and some other stuff. So I will see you again, same time, same place, live around this time tomorrow. Take care.